should know who we are. You should know who we are. We are here to let you know.
Hope you don't mind being on Free Palestine Melbourne live stream on TikTok.
You should know who we are. Okay, you should know who we are. So, listen. What's my name? You should know who we are. We are here to let you know. We will rise and you will see. One more time.
Sorry?
She's
Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah.
doing this stuff. We are
So, I was just saying, just as long as the community has a clear perspective. Sorry. Okay. Once a year. Yeah.
too many years of standing next to speakers. I don't.
It's kind of careful. Yeah.
All right, Melbourne. We're about
The tripod's working okay?
good afternoon, good evening. Another day of hope for resistance. Week 29, I believe. I lost count. But we still keep going. Please come forward, huddle up together, gather together.
Can we have children, please? Lining up at the front here. We need our children, please. Can we have Muhammad, can you make shout-outs for children?
Yes, we have no shout-outs today. We're going to do shout-outs for children, shout-outs for our guests from Sydney, Adelaide, and Tassie. We have a lot going on. And I would like to start by acknowledging the First Nations owners of this land and their intergenerational resistance. And that means this is always was and always will be Aboriginal land. Always was, always will be. Always was, always will be. Always was, always will be. Let me start this on a high note. I would like to acknowledge and salute the resistance movement in the Maldives. We have breaking news came out this week from the Maldives. The Maldives has put a complete ban on exports and imports from the so-called Israel. So no Israeli products or goods are welcomed into Maldives anymore. And also, on top of that, a complete ban on Israeli citizens from entering the country as well. So that's a huge win. And I think this is a clear message to Mr. Albanese and his government that is so complicit to listen to the people. The Maldives has listened to its people, has listened to justice, and it's now doing sanctions on so-called Israel and the Zionist entity. And we are here in week 29. We are still asking Albanese and his government to do something and put sanctions into the Zionist entity, but they're not listening. But guess what? Now we are changing our tone. We are saying to them, liberation or else. We are saying to them, ceasefire or else. We are saying to them, freedom or else. This so-called we're gonna adapt or else. They need to figure out what that else will be, because us, the resistance movement, and the people has been out in the streets calling for this broken system to reshuffle its cards and listen to the people and do the right thing. this is just inspiring. It's all been inspired by the University of Columbia. Welcome to them all. We are with you all the way. We are with you all the way. Uni Melbourne has established an encampment at the Uni of Melbourne to demand the Uni of Melbourne to put sanctions and cut ties with the so-called Israel and the Zionist entity, and we are with you. The students, unionists, community members, and the people, we are all together, we are all united against the Zionist entity to call for freedom and justice. They have been absolutely exposed. They have been exposed, and the puppets behind them as well has been exposed. And now the game time is over. Now it's time for action. The action is just started, I'm telling you. It's 29 weeks, but we just started. And we're gonna keep going. And we will get the freedom for every nation. All right, we have an amazing line of speakers today, and we will start with our first speaker. He's a dear brother of mine. He's been with us in the streets from day one, and he is a Palestinian civil engineer. His name is Basil, and he is a refugee who has been calling this land his home for over the last 18 years. He's a son of a refugee parent, a civil engineer who has previously been a member of multiple student and Islamic organizations in Melbourne now, and has taken part of a number of direct actions and rallies. Please welcome to Basil.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May the blessings and the peace of Allah be upon every single person that is here with us today. May the peace and be upon the traditional custodians of the land on which we meet today, past, present and emerging. Peace be upon every human from every background, from every nationality, from every part of the world, from every gender, from every religion that chose to stand, not to be silent, not to be intimidated by the war crimes that are being committed right in front of our own eyes, as of now, as of today. We've seen 204 days of genocide, 204 days of war crimes, 204 days of breaches of international law, live streamed to the palms of our hands on our mobile phones, and we as humanity are failing to stop it. A genocide may be started by a bunch of old men and government officers choosing to disregard human lives for their political agendas and greed. But a genocide cannot continue if we, the people, with our willpower, decide to bring it to a stop. A genocide cannot operate. Nothing has happened. A genocide cannot happen without a worker turning up to a factory listed in our streets to produce a part or a piece of equipment to be delivered by a truck driver, to be transported to a port, to be unloaded by a crane operator, to be put on a ship, to be sailed by a captain and crew across the globe, to be used to bombard innocent civilians that have nothing to do and nothing that they can defend themselves with. A genocide cannot operate without multi-billion-dollar corporations that have completely disregarded credibility, that have completely disregarded morality and all human rights to distort the image of a civilian population, twist their stories, and hide and silence their agony as they scream for help. A genocide cannot operate without government puppets and gutless politicians enacting laws which allow all of the above to take place and refuse to take any sort of tangible actions apart from empty words of condemnations and senseless justifications. A genocide can come to an end when we, the people, decide to bring it to an end. It can come to an end when we are brave enough to uphold the rights and international law and defend human rights and bring those who break these laws to justice. It can come to an end when we are brave enough to exercise our sovereignty and we expel an ambassador to a regime committing war crimes from our country who have killed one of our own. Sanction a fascist regime and politically and economically cut its ties and stop its bloodline and an economic bloodline. It can come to an end when a worker refuses to partake in an economy that fuels that genocide. It can come to an end when we vote every government official at every level of government whenever they choose not to do anything about the war crimes that are being committed. It can come to an end when we make the scream of children and their cries heard all over the world and broadcast them on our social media accounts and flood the internet with their stories. It can come to an end when we sacrifice our comfort, when we put in money and effort, when we unite and put our differences apart, when we put our egos aside, and when we purify our intentions and put nothing but a free, liberated Palestine on our side as our goal and as our objective. The Palestinian cause, this fight, is a blistering battle for the most fundamental human rights that every living soul on this planet should inherit by birthright. This battle is not a battle for a flag. It's not a battle for a name. It's not a battle for a religion or an ethnicity. It's a human battle to defend our morals. It's a human battle to defend our values and our fundamental rights to exist. It's a human battle for our land. It's a human battle to set the precedents for generations to come that power concedes nothing without a demand. It never did and it never will. Well, this battle has been raging for generations over 75 years. While it may not end today or tomorrow, and while it may continue for generations to come, it is that only generation, it is a generation that is only brave enough and has the willpower that will prevail. And it is that generation that will write their name in history so that torch of liberation can be taken all over the world. And until then, we won't stop, we won't budge, and we won't stop screaming off the top of our lungs, free, free Palestine!
Thank you very Basim, that was great. Another round of applause, please, for Basim, for all of you. So, we're going to have a very, very busy month in May. There's a lot of activities, a lot of actions that's going to be happening. Pay attention to the platforms. Pay attention to what's going to happen, because there's a lot of big actions that's going to happen soon. And along the way, we're going to mention a few activities. I would like to, all of you, please pay attention to this. So this is a very interesting and good action that is happening. It is a bunch of beautiful artists coming in together for Palestine and for First Nations all over the world. It's going to be an art protest. So some people are going to be working with this. Just scan it and you'll find all the information. And basically what we are seeking for artists from all nations. So if you have any artistic background or would like to participate, scan this and we'll take you all the way. We have lovely people who will be walking around, please. Thank you. It is organized by Tales of the Olive Tree. Wonderful people, please support. Thank you. All right. So we have some chanting to do, and then after that I'm going to tell you a little story, and then we'll have our next speaker. So I'm going to do a call out, and I need you to answer and say we are the people. This is inspired by the people of Jordan that has been blocking the Israeli embassy more than 20 days back to back. You should know who we are. You should know who we are. We are here to let you know. We are here to let you know. God is there with Palestine. We will rise and you will see. Palestine will be free. Palestine will be free. Palestine will be free. We want to stand for Palestine. Your existence is a crime. We want justice, you want peace. In our causes, in our villages. In our causes, in our villages. You can try to divide us. We are one and you are done. We are one and you are done. We are one and you are done. Too bad for the first time. We can do a lot more than that. I think the drums got too excited with that one. I will have chat to them later on. Okay, so here's a little story I want to tell you guys. There was a man on his deathbed. He have 4 wonderful kids. And in his last moments, in his deathbed, asked his kids to come together and asked them to bring, each of them to bring a bunch of sticks. They answered the call, went back to their father, and asked each one of them to grab one stick and break it. They did. It was very, very easy to break. Asked them to bring and hold 2 sticks together. And asked them to break it. It was breakable. They did. And so on, until they got into a bunch of sticks and asked them to break it. It was impossible. And his message to his kids before he died, that they are like those sticks. If they come together, they will become unbreakable. If they are united, they become unbreakable. This is going to be passed to us generation by generation as Palestinians, to be united together side by side against the enemy, against the Zionist entity, and against anyone that will try to divide us until the day we die. So we carry on the message and we will keep going on with that message. So I want to tell you that the people united will never be defeated. I have never seen unity in this planet like I have seen in these days that we are living in. And this unity is against greed, against injustice, and specifically against Zionism. So I'm so excited to feel this unity, and I can't wait to break them. All of us together. We will break Zionism. If you think occupying a lawn in university is anti-Semitic or is a crime or is a threat, then talk to me about occupying a land for 76 years, what that looks like. So, with this story that I told you, I want to get to the point of, for recent events, multiple Palestinian activists has been targeted. Their homes being firebombed, their businesses being firebombed, we put on fire, we've been getting threats, we've been attacked for standing for justice and for defending our people, saying no to Zionism. And with that, I want you all, and this is a message for our brothers and sisters in the movement, and especially in the attack to my brother Hash. We say to you, brother, you are not alone in this. We are with you. We are all with you. This is a crime. This is a terror act. This is, we should call it what it is. When you terrorize kids in their homes, safe, you are a terrorist. Doesn't matter what ethnicity, whatever it is, you are a terrorist. And whoever did this act, they are a terrorist. And we want the police to put all the power and all their effort to find who is responsible for this. And you have a role to play with this. I need you all to email and message and send letters to your MPs and the police commissioner in regards of putting more effort into investigating those acts. And we will not stop until we get justice in all forms, here in Australia, in Palestine, in Africa, anywhere. And my final message to those people who think to commit those acts again, I need you to really, really think again, because you have been exposed, and we will get our justice, one way or another. Okay, so next we have one of our beautiful young youth heroes. She's a member of Union of Melbourne. She is one of the organizers in the encampment that is happening now, and she is here to speak to you a little bit about that. Her name is Nada. She's a Palestinian of youth who has grown up in Australia, and she went into youth trip to Palestine a couple of years ago, and she got to experience the Palestinian life and the Palestinian land in first hand. Nada speaks about her experience of as Palestinian Australian. Please welcome Nada.
Hello everyone. I wanted to speak today to share how life has been like as a Palestinian of youth living in Australia. I was the first to visit my country ever since my family was displaced 75 years ago, and the only reason I could was because of my Australian passport. I had the privilege of finally seeing my home after many, many years of displacement. The feeling of home is something I've never really felt growing up, never feeling like I truly belonged. This changed the minute I stepped foot into my homeland. I had Palestinians welcome me home, where their generosity and kindness was more than expected, where people of all faiths lived together in the West Bank. Let's go back to the history, to the generational trauma that today's attacks on Gaza are instilling on the Palestinian population. My family root stems back to the 1948 Nakba. Nakba defines as catastrophe, where many Palestinians around the country were forced to flee their home, with the Zionist invasion that occurred. Some left the country and some moved to Gaza and West Bank. My great-grandmother was forced to leave her house, thinking she'd return in a few days, and left everything behind as she had to choose between life and displacement. Shame. She walked to Lebanon on foot with her 2 sons. 75 years later, and my family spread around Lebanon and Australia, and we have not yet been able to return. Palestinians are not allowed back in the country once they leave. Shame! Our homeland is now occupied, and I have family that will never be able to see their country again. We do not want the same thing to happen to the people of Gaza. We cannot let this happen. We cannot let Israel take more land. Free Palestine! Our entire purpose is to live together, to understand that this land is holy to all religions. My great-grandmother tells us that her Jewish and Palestinian neighbours tried on behalf of the Palestinians who were forced to leave. It saddens me, the way the media portrays our fight. They make remarks of us being anti-Semitic. They make it seem like we're here to attack them. As a Palestinian, I'm here to tell you that that is not our goal. We just want a home, we want our country back, and we want innocent people to stop dying. We will have it back on behalf of conscious people around the world, including you, including the students of Melbourne who have been staying overnight to try and bring awareness to the situation. My dad told me that back in the Vietnam War, the thing that actually changed what was happening is the anti-protests, the encampments overnight. So this gives us hope that we are going to make a change. I want to share some key experience during my time in the West Bank that really showed the extent of occupation that Palestine is under. West Bank is under Palestinian authority. It, however, consists of illegal settlements of Israeli soldiers around the streets. There are continuous killings, there is occupation, there is inhumanity. I actually went to a refugee camp and we met the parents of a child who was murdered with a sniper by an Israeli soldier who simply standing. There were posters all around this camp. Shame, shame. Did you know that even the streets are separated? Palestinians and Israelis' cars can't drive in the same street. Did you know that to move from other there are checkpoints? We were intimidated at the border trying to enter. They took our passports, made us sit for hours until they finally gave us access inside. My friend got interrogated. He was stuck in a room. They were drilling him, asking him so many questions just because he wanted to see his home. We also had an Israeli soldier come into our bus holding a rifle. All this because we're trying to exist. Shame! Gaza is filled with displaced Palestinians. If you are not forcefully displaced out of Palestine, you went to Gaza or West Bank. Can you imagine if my grandmother wasn't forced out of her hometown? I would be in Gaza today. Me and my family might have been one of the 30,000 killed in Gaza today. There are thousands of Palestinians living in Melbourne. Any one of us could be there today. The constant rise of genocide that has been happening in Gaza is not only disgraceful but inhumane. It goes beyond the depths of comprehension. How such people could be so cruel. How can we live in a world knowing that this is happening to such young people? To people who are just trying to live. I've witnessed so much hatred towards Palestinians in my lifetime, but it has done nothing but made me stronger and want to fight for our land. I am not hopeless. I can admit that there was a time when I was younger that I didn't even think where we are today with the support we received would even be possible. I remember a time when no one knew what Palestine was. where we were not allowed to put our flags up, where we could not practice our culture, where Palestine was not allowed to be mentioned in textbooks. Shame. I remember the support we received a couple of years ago, where I could not believe how many people stood up with us. Today, hundreds of thousands of people are here today supporting us. Millions are worldwide. And because of you, I have hope again. We cannot give up. We cannot let this happen to the people of Gaza. We need to keep fighting. We haven't forgotten our blood and we never will. What does it mean to be a Palestinian? Being Palestinian means courage, bravery, and resilience. Everyone standing here today and everyone that has supported us, I also consider you Palestinian by spirit. In our thousands, in our millions, we're all Palestinian.
I was trying hard with our beautiful princess here, Maya. From the river to the sea! From the river to the sea! They hate that one, but I love it. From the river to the sea! Okay, let's try with Maya. We did try with her before, but we're going to try again. She's one of our regular beautiful activists. She would like to say a chant or two. I mean, how cute is that, huh? Alright, so we gotta keep it going. Now, I just want to give a big shout out to our Jewish brothers and sisters. Lately has been doing amazing work interacting some Zionist supporters and Zionist entity. They have been absolutely a massive voice for freedom and justice for the Palestinian people and for other struggles in the world as well. So another round of applause for our Jewish brothers and sisters. We say we are one and you are done, we mean it. We are one. Jewish, Muslim, Christians, everything, all colors, everything. So, with no drums, I swear any drummer is gonna snatch the drum, you are banned for life. So here's the game. I wanna say we are one and you are done, and you just say we are the people. I just wanna hear you guys. It's just the energy we get from this, it's just insane. The drummers again, last warning. So, we are one and you are done. We are one and you are done. We are one and you are done. We are the people indeed. Our next speaker is a wonderful champion in the movement, has been loud and clear and saying, not in my name, peace and justice for all, especially the Palestinians. So we have a great deal of respect to herself and to her fellow comrades. Her name is Julie. She is a Jewish historian and writer. She has worked extensively with Palestinians in Australia, Palestine and elsewhere. She is a member of the Loud Jew Collective based in Nam, and she has been involved in multiple other Jewish and justice-focused organizations. Please, warm welcome to Julie. Thank you.
I want to start by acknowledging that we're here on the lands of the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation and pay my respects to elders past and present. This always was and always will be Aboriginal land. Always was, always will be. Aboriginal land! Always into my speech, I want to remind you all that there's people walking around with these containers collecting money for Free Palestine Melbourne to help run these events. This isn't, this costs money, activism costs money, so chip in where you can to people with these containers. So we're now at 204 days of this genocide. It is devastating shame. It is bewildering. It is heartbreaking. We are broken as a people. I don't know that we can be repaired. I wonder what else there is to say. Words fail, but yes, we must keep speaking. We must keep raising our voices. We must keep following the lead of thousands in their continued resistance. And so I'm here today to say that I am Jewish, I'm the granddaughter of Holocaust survivors, and I want to be clear that when I say never again, I mean never again for anyone. This is what I learned from histories of genocide, the simple truth that genocide is bad, that it is wrong, and it should never be done to anyone. I want to be unequivocal that when I say freedom, I mean the end of Zionism, the end of state violence, the end of all these borders that seek with their violence to divide us and to decimate so many people. You don't need Jewish speakers here to pronounce these protests kosher, but we Jews come, and we keep coming because we are committed to you. We are committed to Palestine. We are committed to freedom for all. We are committed to struggling together, humbly. Right now is Pesach, or Passover, the Jewish festival of liberation. Jewish festival, we recall the ancient liberation from slavery. This year there is no celebration. There is only a renewed commitment to fight for the liberation of all people. We recall the exodus from slavery in order to remind ourselves that this exodus is not complete, that we cannot rest, that there is still work to do. There's a key Jewish text called the Pirkei Avot, and it tells us, you are not obligated to complete the work, but neither are you free to desist from it. We say this because we are a link in the chain. We are not the start, and we are not the end. But what we are fighting against is heinous. It is destruction incarnate. We will never forgive, and we will never forget. We will never relent. We will never stop. We stand in a cross-border movement, and we undo these borders with our movements. Because we are all interrelated. We are all connected. We live for each other, and we love for each other. And so we demand no trade with Israel. We demand no more weapons companies. We demand the end to any relationships with Israel, diplomatic, financial, emotional, and otherwise. We demand and we affirm boycott, divest, sanction. These are collective efforts. They work because we do them together. That is their beauty. Our resistance works only when it is collective, communal, and shared, when we rely on each other. We rely on each other to share stories of resistance, to build new resistance into the future. We learn from each other. We are liberated through listening and learning, acting and doing. Be humble, learn, challenge yourself. Take a new action this week that you've never done before. Commit to having a new conversation. Commit to reading, commit to listening, commit to growing. Israel, with its hatred of learning and text, its disavowal of love, its affirming of settler colonial violence, could not be further from the futures we dream of together. So we continue to make our new worlds today. I do so as a Jew, and we all do so from whatever our positionality is. As well as being Jewish, I'm also a historian, and I hear in my work the testimonies of stateless and formerly stateless people, talking about how they seek belonging, how they seek to live a life not filled with state violence, dispossession, or displacement. This is, of course, part of the genocide that Israel is perpetrating against Gaza and against all Palestine. The forced displacement of Palestinians. These Palestinians are stateless. They have a right to international protection from us all. We are obligated to protect each other, to not be complicit in the destruction of another. In my work, I also researched how we remember the Holocaust, and so I think of last week, how it was the anniversary of the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising, when Jews imprisoned in that ghetto during the Holocaust came together some 81 years ago to stop the Nazi onslaught, to refuse to die quietly. We do not bow down to those who enact genocide. On the contrary, we refuse to participate in genocide. We stand together in opposition, in as many different forms of opposition and resistance as there are stars in the sky. Together we create a tapestry, a cacophony. Together we do not stop. Together we maintain our rage, we maintain our anger, we maintain our defiance, we maintain our refusal to participate in their systems and use their frameworks. We refuse to accept their definitions and approaches and narratives. We refuse to see ourselves as wrong for insisting that this genocide must end, or to see them as facing hardship because they do not agree that Palestinians should not face genocide. Instead, we keep loudly proclaiming that we are right and they are wrong. Because as we well know, from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free.
All right. Let me get this to my heart a little bit. From the river to the sea. Oh my God, the Zionists are in so much trouble, I can tell you that. Yeah, we just started. I'm telling you and I'm telling them because I know they are here filming us and they want to know what we are up to, but it's going to be surprise, surprise. We just started. Okay, so we have a lot of campaigns going on. Our two main campaigns as a collective, putting all our energy and efforts into, is to hold the Australian government accountable for their complicity in the genocide, and we need to put an end to that. That's number one. Number two, we are letting the Zionist entity know that they are exposed, and we need to shut down the weapon manufacturers everywhere they exist. And we are working hard on that. When we say it is a generational resistance, it is a generational resistance. We are not lying. We have people from all ages, from all generations coming together, passing on the knowledge, passing on the energy, and we are all in with this. And trust me, there is, across history, we have been shown that there is no colony will last, doesn't matter how long they will last, because at the end of the day, all colonies will fall. So I have an announcement for, we have a rally tomorrow at Hume, Broad Meadows. It's part of the shutdown, the war machine. It's going to be tomorrow at 6 p.m. For more information, you need to follow the Hume for Palestine. They're doing an amazing job and they need support. With numbers, they need support with energy. So let's be there. I'm definitely going to be there and everywhere. Another part of the campaign, these people are doing an amazing work. Weapons out of Nam. This is going to be shut down. The AW Bell community picket. This is going to be the first picket we are holding. So we've been protesting at this factory and now the serious work is about to start. So we're going to be picketing on this damn thing until it's shut down. That's going to be on next Monday. And also for more information, follow Weapons out of Nam. There's a lot more that's going to happen. And also we have the HTA now for 17 or 18 weeks. We've been picketing and the team has been doing amazing work. We have successfully shut down 98% of the work every time we're picketing, which is amazing. Last but not least, the United Melt action. I can't just really go as much as I can. I want you all to keep in mind that this is a global solidarity action with our brothers and sisters, students, international students, and students for Palestine all over the world. They need your support. Show up to Unimelt. Go and show your face. Give them hugs. Tell them well done. Be there for half an hour, 15 minutes, an hour. They need support. They need a little bit of food or camping gear or this and that, because we just started this and it's not going to end the way how they want it to end. Inshallah, we will end it the way how it's supposed to end, by ending complicity with the so-called Israel and the Zionist entity. They are done. We are one and they are done. End of the story. That's it. Alright, so we gotta keep this going. We have a very, very exciting speaker. Her name is Giselle Hannah. She is Secretary of Australia-Asia Worker Links, an international solidarity organization that builds links between workers in Australia and across the Asia-Pacific region, including West Asia, which is most commonly referred as the Middle East. That's where I'm from. And that's where she's from too. In addition to this, Giselle is an active participant into the Trade Unionists for Palestine and is a delegate with the Community and Public Sector Union. Please, warm welcome to Giselle.
Today is International Workers' Memorial Day, April the 28th. Today is the day when workers internationally remember and commemorate our working comrades who were killed at work by scrupulous employers who have no regard for our health and safety at work. And shame. And right now, today, Gaza is the most dangerous place in the world to be a worker. Gaza is the most dangerous place to be a medical worker, with over 700 health workers having been killed in Gaza since October, and more than 900 wounded. The evidence of health workers, doctors, medics and hospital staff deliberately being targeted by Israel to deprive Gazans of the means to save lives and limbs is abundant. Gaza is the most dangerous place in the world to be an aid worker. More than 200 humanitarian aid workers have been killed, including those 7 from food aid charity World Central Kitchen. But let me tell you, most of the humanitarian aid workers that have been killed are Palestinian. Most of those 200 slain aid workers were Palestinian. Gaza is the most dangerous place in the world to be a journalist. More than 100 journalists have been killed in the 7 months of Israel's war on Gaza. Journalists working for TV, radio, print media and multimedia, photographers, camera operators, 91 men and 12 women journalists of all ages, all Palestinian. This is not counting the multiple instances in which journalists' families have been killed by IDF strikes and bombs in killed these journalists' families to break them, and as a warning to journalists who dare to give the world a window on the truth about what Israel is committing in Gaza. By the end of last year, 2023, that's 3 months of the war, 72 out of the 99 journalists worldwide that were killed in Gaza. Last year was the deadliest year for journalists in decades. Comrades, today, the 28th of April, International Workers' Memorial Day, the day that workers right across the world acknowledge those workers who have died or were injured at work, and to fight like hell for the living. Every year, more people are killed at or because of work than in war. Most don't die of mystery ailments or in tragic accidents. They die because a boss decided that worker safety was not a priority, it was not as important as making profits. Health and safety is not a perk, it is not a favour, it is our right at work. Globally, we remember the more than 3 million workers who die at work every year, and the tens of millions who are injured or who become ill each year because of unsafe, unhealthy, or unsustainable work. Across Gaza, public service workers face scenes of unimaginable devastation. 400 education facilities destroyed, 132 water wells out of service, 35 hospitals knocked out. The entire energy grid remains offline due to fuel restrictions and severing of external lines. The lack of electricity has forced desalination and water treatment plants to close, with wastewater openly flowing in the streets. Shame! I gave you some information about how Gaza right now is the most dangerous place in the world for workers. But that doesn't mean it was safe before. And neither were the workers in the West Bank. Before the war, every day, around 70,000 Palestinians had to make the arduous journey across military checkpoints to work in Israel, often in construction or agriculture, escaping poverty in the West Bank caused by decades of occupation. A further 30,000 people, Palestinians, work at companies in settlement industrial zones, lucrative factory complexes which exploit Palestinian resources, and they receive tax breaks from the Israeli government for exploiting the labour of Palestinians. They view Palestinians as a source of cheap labour for the Israeli market. Palestinians face discrimination from their bosses and risk their health doing dangerous work while receiving poverty wages. Israel built 23 industrial zones in the occupied West Bank. These industrial zones are illegal under international law. Prior to the war, according to the International Trade Union Confederation, 59% of Palestinian workers in industrial zones were exposed to hazardous health conditions and were not equipped with proper safety gear. In fact, only 4% of Palestinian workers were given appropriate hazardous gear to wear. These conditions lead to devastating loss of Palestinian lives and debilitating injuries at work. That is the apartheid state that Israel has been building for decades. Israel's construction sector is infamously unsafe. Oversight and inspection of working conditions is negligible. The number of injuries of Palestinian workers in construction sites in Israel is absolutely abhorrent, and they are the people forced to build Israel's state economy. on eliminating the Palestinian people. On the 7th of March this year, 4 months into the war, Israel bombed the headquarters of the Palestinian General Federation of Trade Unions, the same people that are calling on all of us to participate in a boycott, divestment and sanctions campaign. The spokesperson of the PGFTU said on behalf of his union that they had lost thousands of members, union officers, facilities and other institutions as a result of Israel's wholesale slaughter and forced dislocation. In other words, Israel's ethnic cleansing. So why is defending Palestine in the interests of working class people globally? Why is Palestine union business? War is a disaster for workers. War is not in our interests. War is in the interests of the capitalists. They are the ones who generate the profits from war. And the winners of the wars are not us, the workers. The winners of the wars are the imperialist countries who make those profits. They will continue to pay us less than our value, and they will continue to expose us to hazardous workplaces in order to make those profits. We are witnessing a genocide that is unending in Gaza. As victims of the Palestinian people, they have been collectively punished as a people for being Palestinian. The perpetrator is the Zionist Israeli state, and its direct accomplices are the government of the United States and others of the world's most powerful states, including Australia. More than 33,000 people have been killed in Gaza since October last year. The vast majority of them civilians, and the majority of them women and children. The present Israeli war in Gaza is a catastrophe for workers and our families. It uses essential resources like fuel and power and medicine. It takes money away from health and education and housing and food. The war is destroying the environment. It is polluting the skies and the seas and the oceans and the deserts and the forests and the streets and the towns. The war, like all wars, is a catastrophe for workers. Fighting wars is union business. A free Palestine requires all of us fighting together, because an injustice to one is an injustice to all. Touch one, touch all. Australia is part of the problem. The Australian government is part of this system of war. Australia hosts US military bases. Australia takes part in joint military exercises. Australia manufactures weapons components, and it buys weapons from Israel. Australian workers have a role to play in stopping this war. We are the ones that operate those factories, that use the commodities that Israel sells. We are the ones who, if we stopped our labour, the world over, the entire global economy would grind to a halt. We need to organise in our unions, and we need to campaign internationally. We cannot abandon our sisters and brothers in Gaza or the West Bank, or in Lebanon, or in Iran, or in Yemen, or in Sudan. Our strength is our solidarity. The power of workers is our ability to organise, to stop work and to stop profits. Working together, we can stop war. We can build peace and justice, and we can see a free Palestine in our lifetime. If you are not already in a union, join your union. Join Trade Unionists for Palestine. We've organised a number of events. Let me just quickly tell you. On the 1st of May is the rallied. May Day is an international day of workers' mobilisation. Workers across the world march together on this day. We are marching here, right here, at 5 o'clock on Wednesday the 1st of May. That will be followed by a forum at Trades Hall at 6:30. The forum is about how to organise in your unions, how to talk to your fellow workers about joining the struggle for a free Palestine. Join us for the forum. The official May Day rally is on Sunday, the 5th of May. That is outside of Trades Hall, starting at 1 o'clock. And then a couple more rallies. We want to shut down the ports. We want to stop Zoom shipping. We want to stop the flow of weapons components. And we want to respond to the call from the Palestinian Confederation of Trade Unions. On Saturday, the 25th of May, right across the country, there will be protests at ports. And then finally, on the 18th of May, the state Labor government, the state Labor Party is having a conference. That is the same state Labor government that just made a deal of $917 million with Melbourne Industries. We will be protesting that conference on the 18th of May at Moonee Valley Racecourse. Check out our socials for more information about all of those demonstrations. But comrades, remember, the workers united will never be defeated. The workers united will never be defeated.
Thank you, Giselle. The workers. The workers. I mean, people from all over levels of society are coming together to say no to genocide and to fight the war machine and the Zionist entity led by the American forces. Just wherever these guys go, absolutely destruction, nothing but destruction. And we've had enough of that, and we're going to fight it with every single drop of blood and energy we have all the way, inshallah, we will. I am in the presence of two legends at the moment. One of them with me here, Faisal, and the other one is right here on the stage. So just somebody here wants to say hi. He's a little bit absent and he's overseas at the moment. This man has started a fantastic movement here in Nam. 192 days ago, Ammo Ihab started the sitting Bifara, and even with his absence for emergency reasons, he couldn't just, literally every rally I go, he would be FaceTiming me just to see how things are going and just put the energy there. And today he just wants to say hi from overseas. Yalla, Ammo, yalla. Tomorrow we're all going to be free. It's just amazing and so inspiring, and that's what I mean, generational resistance. He's Amr, so he's uncle, you know, so it's going to pass on and on and on, inshallah. We keep fighting. Our final speaker needs absolutely no introduction. He is the indigenous legend, and we are all inspired by his presence and by his speech and by everything he does, and we feel so blessed, so blessed. I personally feel so blessed to be around him, to hear him talk, and to learn from him, to carry on the legacy of fighting the colonizer and fighting for liberation. please, a very, very warm welcome to Uncle Gary, please.
Thank you. I'll be very brief. As you can hear, I'm getting old. I began my fight for freedom and justice when I was 17 years old, courtesy of a good bashing by a bunch of corrupt thugs from the New South Wales Police Force. In a couple of weeks, on the weekend of the APAN conference, I turned 74. I'm still going. I'm still here. And if an old codger like me can still make it here every Sunday because the issue is so important, then so too should a lot more of our compatriots. We need to make sure that all of those who turned up in the first few weeks of these rallies keep coming. This is important, and we need to take the conversation beyond us and out into the broader community. Into things like May Day, I organised for a Palestinian speaker to be at the Clunes Book Festival even. It's important to take our message into parts of Australia that are not getting the truth. I stand before you today as a part of the progressive Aboriginal movement, as distinct from the minuscule right wing of the Aboriginal movement who are so beholden to their Zionist sponsors. And that's the difference, folks. You know, it's not that subtle a difference. It should be easy for people to understand when they see some Aboriginal people purporting to support the other side. Well, folks, I'm a historian. I keep saying that every week. I've spent the first part of my life making history, and in the second part of my life, I'm teaching the history that we know. Part of the history I teach is that resistance is legitimate. Resistance against a fascist nation of oppressors is legitimate. No matter how much they might try to kill the resistors, you can never kill the resistance.
Always was, always will be. Always was, always will be. It's so inspiring to have Uncle Gary and to learn from him and take the messages every single time we come on the stage of 300 to keep going and fight the colony, and every colony will fall. Alright, everybody, I know we are good to go to March. So make your way, stay safe, look after each other, and free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! From the river to the sea! Palestine will be free! From the river to the sea! Palestine will be free! In our thousands, in our millions! We are all Palestinians! In our thousands, in our millions! We are all Palestinians! Free the people, free the land! 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 Justice is our demand! Justice is our demand! Justice is our demand! Justice is our demand! Let's go and get them. Well done, everyone!